All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is, wherever you're at. Welcome to Gaming Tonic. I am just Vince, and I'm glad you're here. And I'm joined by my incredible co-host, Twitch streamer, beautiful man.
Devin Kronk here. What's going on, guys? Welcome into another glorious weekend. Today, we are also joined by a special guest.
Very special.
Very special. We got Trulia in the house. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
Welcome
Happy
in.
Saturday. Yeah.
Welcome
Thank
in.
you. Thank you.
And happy Saturday. For those of you who don't know, the reason why this is such a special guest is because she isn't just Trulia, she's my sister. And we're glad that she's here. She's awesome. A lot of people haven't really gotten the chance to meet or interact with you yet because you don't really play Smite or anything like that. Every now and then you come through the podcast to hang out or, come through the stream to hang out during the week and stuff like that. But not many people have really gotten to know you and what you're about. So I'm really, really excited to have you on here talking about you a little bit and what you do and how much you're a gamer too and all that stuff. It's not just me. My whole family pretty much plays video games except for my mom, who bodies everybody in Tetris. So either way, we're glad that you're here. We're so excited to have you on here. So Trulia, before we get started with anything else, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about, your gaming history. Tell us about what you do. Tell us about what you love. Anything that you want to share with us, throw it out there. We want to hear about it.
So I am Vincent's older sister.
Yes, 1 year, 2 months, and 12 days older. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
right.
tell you exactly what
You
it is
keep
to the
count.
T.
Yeah. We're not competitive. Not
Not at all. Not
Yep.
competitive.
Mhm.
Not one bit. No competition. But I've been playing video games since I could touch a computer? Question mark. I mean, our dad started us way early on
Yeah.
video games and things like that. So it's just been quite the experience. I stick to a lot of MMORPGs because clearly roleplay is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right on. Right on. That's excellent. Thank you for the introduction. We're
Yeah,
glad
thank
you're
you.
here. I say, apparently the love for MMO games runs in the family. I mean, I'm not quiet about how much I love MMO games. I've played all of them. I've tried
Yeah.
all of them. It's the content I enjoy. You know what I mean? It's either competitive stuff or role playing stuff. So I mean, either one of those two, I'll take it. So Devin, what has been going
Yes.
on in the world of Devin Kronk this week? What have you been up to? How you been doing? What have you been working on content creation wise? What's been up with you?
I have been it was a big variety week. We were playing a lot of different games. Resident Evil 4. We did Pokemon Snap, the new Pokemon Snap. And then on Friday we did a little bit of Higher or Lower, which was interesting. That's a fun game where like you just guess if a certain subject has more Google searches than another subject. It was cool. And then after that we did what do we do? Monster Hunter. We played Monster Hunter. That was fun.
Oh, more Monster Hunter. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Have you still been enjoying the newest Monster Hunter? I know when Monster Hunter World came out, people were hooked on that for a few months, and then kind of found out it had way less content than like Monster Hunter Generations,
Yeah.
or like Monster Hunter 4. I think was the one before that people were playing as well, or 4 Ultimate or something like that.
Yeah, the other one on the Switch.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it.
Yeah, was it Double Cross? Is that what it was?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I can Google it.
Yeah. But either way, they felt like
yeah.
World had less content. I mean, do you feel like so far Rise is keeping up content wise?
Rise, I've been taking it really slow.
Mhm.
Like so I feel like it has plenty of content for me because I didn't just like rush through it or anything.
Yeah.
I've been happy with it, but like objectively I believe it does have a lot less than the last Switch title. Yeah.
Really? Well, I guess we'll see how long it
Which
keeps
is
people's attention.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they update it and stuff because it seems like with the other Switch one, it just started out with a lot of content, but now they're after World. I think they're taking it more of like the drip feed method where they're just kind of here. You can have another monster every 2 months type of thing. Like,
Gross, not like this.
yeah, I don't. It is what it is.
Yeah, I feel. So, and another thing you mentioned was Pokemon Snap. I watched a little bit of Pokemon Snap. As someone who doesn't have nostalgia for Pokemon Snap, okay, like I don't care about going on rails and taking pictures of Pokemon. I tried to watch a couple of people play it and I was just like, oh no, I'm just like falling asleep in my chair, like watching people take pictures of Pokemons. And I'm just like, what? Like, so what I'm hoping you can do for me is just like break down some of the appeal for me with the taking pictures of Pokemon.
No, you pretty much nailed the appeal. The only time I ever play that game is before I go to bed. So
Wait, really?
yeah, it puts me to sleep. It's a sleepy time game, but I like Pokemon. I relax, I play some Pokemon Snap, and I'm good to go.
And you just
Vincent,
fade away.
Yep,
Vince,
that's
what
it.
about that Pokemon game that we had on the Wii? Do you remember that one with the little farm and things like that? That one has the picture things. You were totally into that.
Yeah, but it was a part of the game. It wasn't the primary function. It wasn't the
Oh.
only thing to do in the game. Pokemon Snap, you literally only go around on rails. It's like the Buzz Lightyear ride at Disneyland. You
Yeah.
just go and you're like Snap, except for you can't even shoot the Pokemons. You just take pictures of them. And it's like, oh, this
No, you're
picture is amazing.
shooting.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
silly. Okay, that's kind of silly.
See, thank you.
Especially since you have Pokemon Go where you can already take pictures with that feature.
Yeah. And you
Like
can
I
like see
don't
them in the
under-
world and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
The one thing I can say about that game, if nothing else is good about it, you can at least appreciate the graphics of it. Like I feel like that could be a great direction to take the mainline Pokemon games as far as graphics goes,
Mhm.
Like the game looks incredible for a Pokemon game.
Yeah. And I mean, like I'm not hating on you at all for like enjoying the Pokemon Snap or anything like that. Like even a little bit, because Kina in the chat was like, let Devin relax with a cute little game. You can absolutely relax with whatever you want to play. If it is entertaining for you, if it is fun for you, do it. You know what I mean? I'm all
Yeah.
about that type of energy. And, not everything is for everybody, and that's okay.
It
I was just
entertains me
hoping,
before bed.
yeah, I was just hoping I could understand a little bit more. So when you say, you know what, at the end of the day, I like to unwind. I like to lay down, kick off my shoes, pull up the Switch, and take pictures of Pokemans.
Yeah.
Do it. Live that dream.
Heck yeah.
I love it. I love it. Like for me, games like that. I mean, I play games like Diablo. Or like I'll play like a mobile game or something like that, like some real low intensity, just like shut your brain off. Watch the numbers go up for a little bit. Like that's what soothes me. That's what calms me down. You know what I mean? So like. But most of the time, at the same time, when I'm playing, I'm not quite trying to like fall asleep immediately afterwards. So I mean, but I think people play Stardew Valley for a lot of similar reasons. Just something
Yeah.
to kind of unwind and like kind of go through the rhythm of something, steadily progress, and just relax, enjoy it.
Exactly.
Except for this
Pure
time,
relaxation.
it's with Pokemon.
Yeah.
So even better,
And a
because people love
camera.
Pokemon and the camera. Don't forget. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Someone in the chat just said that guy Roach said Vince relaxes with Smite no cap. That's actually huge cap. Smite is not relaxing. Smite stresses me out, but it's the pain I choose. So Trulia, what have you been up to this week? What have you been doing in the gaming world, in the RP world, that sort of thing? What's been going on with you?
So nothing major this week, but last week I had one of my fashion show events in BDO, so that was really fun. I had a good turnout again, which this was my second event for BDO
Mhm.
because I just recently started doing that. And now I'm working on my summer event, trying to come up with ideas for that,
Nice.
which is great because they have swimsuits that are really cute, so might do something with that.
Hey, there's something out there for everybody. That's awesome. Let's say you said you did a fashion event. Actually, when I was playing and streaming Guild Wars 2 really actively, I did a like fashion event in Guild Wars 2 because Guild Wars 2 fashion is apparently huge as well. And I mean, I did like gold giveaways and competition and had like my stream vote and stuff like that. We had an awesome time. It was really cool. Like it was a lot of fun. Like had I continued to like play Guild Wars 2 a lot more, that definitely would have been something I would have kept doing. Like it was cool. It was
Yeah,
really
no,
cool.
I just love it in BDO though because you have the different outfits, but then on top of that they have this color palette that you can make them like dull or shiny and like different textures. It's just lots of variety.
As someone that's never participated in any type of fashion contest in a game, what exactly does that entail? What do you do?
So it's not a fashion contest, it's a fashion show.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
So basically I have models that volunteer and then um they put together their outfit and then I say if something needs to be changed and then I fill out like a description of what they're wearing because True is my fashion designer for the realm of BDO and
Mhm.
she runs her own shop. So I read off the description, and then they read off what their character is doing, how they're walking down the runway, like all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
Jeez. Okay, that's way
That
more
sounds
complicated than
yeah,
what I
sounds
did.
sounds busy.
Let's see.
I mean, last event, so I did a Valentine's Day event the first time, and then this last event was for spring, so I did it flower related. So I tried to have them pick like a specific flower and then make an outfit based off of that.
Jeez. So based around a flower for springtime, they had to design their outfits around that. So it was like a specific themed contest that you did with them. That's actually really cool.
Yeah,
I vibe
no,
with
it
it.
was lots of fun.
That's awesome. Like I truly is straight up a digital high-end fashion person, pretty much. So to give you an idea, as someone who is a simpleton, okay, like when we did my fashion event in Guild Wars 2, what happened was I was like, yo, knock my socks off, just impress me with some stuff. Like come out here with an awesome looking, like, you know, gear costume thing and just wow me. Just wow me. And people did. I mean, people were out there with the fashion stuff. It was impressive stuff. Like some of the stuff that people were showing, they were like, oh yeah, this right here, this cost me like, you know, 10,000 gold or whatever, which is a lot of money. Like I didn't even give away 10,000 gold in the contest, and the amount I was giving away, people were like, you're giving away that much gold? Like they were surprised. They were surprised. So like the expensive stuff that they were bringing out to these fashion contests, and I was like, y'all crazy. They had stuff that would make all of their characters' skin like shining fluorescent blue and stuff like that. I'm just like, well, what in the world? Like, and they incorporated that into the design and everything. I was like, man, y'all are something else. I participated. I put on one, you know, plain outfit for my character. I changed the color of my sword. I was like, we're looking good. We're looking good.
Had a black cloak and a red sword, and he was like, we're going in.
Yeah, it's looking real nice today. It's looking real nice. Yeah, BDO's next top model, pretty much that. Well, that's awesome. Right on. I say it sounds like you had a lot of fun. You got some cool stuff coming up for sure. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yes, excited. I'm very excited about it.
How about you, Vince? How's your week been? What you been up to?
Awesome, dude. It's been a great week. We played some ranked this week on stream, which I said that I wasn't sure I was going to do again because of how rough it went the first time. And that's ranked Smite, by the way. So, you know, just so people know, for anyone who doesn't know that Smite's, you know, my main game, most of you should know by now, but I played some ranked Smite one day this week, and it was actually super fun. I mean, I won a ton of games. I think I only lost 2 games. The whole time, the whole 6 hours I was streaming, which is way better than the last time I played ranked. The last time I just played and lost over and over again, and then like got super tilted, and that's not fun at all. You know what I mean? And like the daytime schedule, you know, is starting to be full swing now. We're starting to have, you know, like the numbers that I was having at nighttime during the daytime, which obviously always a fear when you're doing something big like a schedule change. You know, you're like, hey, is this going to absolutely kill my channel? Will people still watch me during completely different hours than I usually stream? And sure enough, they still keep coming out. They still love me enough, I guess. I don't know what it is. They got some very awesome people in the community. And we hit our 500 sub goal. So I have to do a Lady Bisky cosplay.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Get it.
Lady Bisky, who was our guest on the show last week, we did hit 500 subs, which like obviously an unbelievable number. You know what I mean? Like actually like insane for me to think about. You know, and so now it's Lady Bisky cosplay time. I said that in jest because we were like 200 subs away when I looked at it, and I was like, "There's no way we're gonna get anywhere close." Like, you know what I mean? But that now it's out there on the internet, so it's, you know, it's time to pay up. It's time to produce. So we're looking at wigs. I'm going to be ordering my Bolts merch, who's like a Smite Pro League team, and she's the president of the Bolts fan club, as she mentioned last week on the show. So we're going to get the wig on, we're going to get some Bolts merch, we're going to get all dolled up. It's going to be adorable, and I'm going to be cosplaying as a VTube avatar. So it happens.
That's so cool.
Yes, this is going to be gold.
Yeah.
And we're taking pictures for memories.
Yeah, natural. Well, I mean, you're going to have a whole video for funsies. So
Yeah.
the part that I'm also excited about, though, is I was talking to her about it, and she was like, just so you know, I also have a Just Vince cosplay for my avatar for when you do your Lady Bisky cosplay.
Yes.
So she's
Oh,
like, I got the
that.
hat and
I love
everything. We're gonna have so much fun. So I
The
think,
hat, the beard.
yeah, I think it's gonna be a really good time. I think it's gonna be a really good time. So A lot of exciting stuff happening. I took yesterday off because we got some family coming out today. She's actually going to be coming out this afternoon, and so I, want to make sure I could clean, work on a little bit of YouTube stuff and things like that because I want to get back into the swing of pushing more YouTube content. But we'll see what happens. So, lots of
Sounds like a good week, man.
it was awesome.
Very eventful, yeah.
It was absolutely incredible. And it looks like we have some raiders coming in right now. So welcome in. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the
Ew.
podcast. We do a podcast every Saturday on my channel. Usually I play Smite and Emigod _ if one of the mods could shout him out. He's an excellent streamer. I actually just started getting to know him these last couple of weeks, and he has been just a fountain of knowledge for my Smite growth. So a lot of love for that guy. Thank you so much for that huge raid, dude. Welcome in, Raiders. So gaming news.
Sir.
Are we ready? Sony will invest in Discord to integrate it into PlayStation. Finally. I mean, and this is something that we've been talking about for a long time. Why isn't Discord on consoles? It had to happen, I mean, it's
coming now.
Finally, it's coming.
Coming.
It's coming. The integration is expected to happen in early 2022, and that was from an article from ihyperg.com to cite our sources. Do you still even own a console, Trulia?
I think we own an Xbox One, but it's in the garage somewhere in a box.
Okay. Okay.
But
So
you got Skype then. What do they still have Skype on there?
PC Master Race.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, believe me, I strongly agree. Pretty much all the gaming I do is on PC as well, and we already have Discord. But I mean, for the console people, though, I mean, how much cooler is it gonna be, especially for games that are crossplay like Smite, to have someone who's on PlayStation trying to play Smite with you just be able to join your Discord call instead of having to be like, okay, everybody, let's swap to the in-game chat now, and then everybody who's in the game with you, if you didn't queue up with a full party, can hear your in-game chat, so they can hear you, just like berating your teammates and stuff like that, and they and you don't want them to hear you berating them. You never want that, So, like, I think it's gonna be a big opportunity for PlayStation first off, as again,
Oh yeah.
Microsoft's still doing their own thing with their party chat and already having Xbox party chat on Windows. I think that they maybe didn't see the need for it, but Discord is so big now. I mean,
Right.
do you run your own Discord server too for all your RP stuff, correct? Trulia?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yes, I do Discord for everything.
Yeah. And I mean, Discord's even trying to like break away from the gaming branding and move into business potentially, kind of like what Skype was doing and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like Discord is so big now, and they have the tools for it. Like the service, honestly, like it's excellent. It's really good.
I love Discord so much.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
without Discord, it would be quite difficult to put everything together, especially for RP events, because there's so many different channels that I'm a part of, because everybody that has an event that they do has their own Discord channel.
Yeah.
So I have like 50 Discords up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you look at my Discord on stream sometimes, you'll see like you scroll for a long time to get through all the Discords I'm a part of, especially in the streaming community. Like everybody
Right,
in the
yeah.
streaming community has a Discord. If you don't have a Discord and you're a streamer, you should probably have a Discord,
Yes.
Like it goes such a long way. For just helping you build up your community and being able to talk with people all the time and send out notifications, get live notifications, keep in touch with you, see what's going on. And Narjo,
Yep.
thank you so much for that tier 1 sub for 2 months. You're absolutely incredible. We appreciate the support. We got a lot of love for you, man. And Roach, thank you for the tier 1 gifted sub. You guys are absolutely insane. I appreciate that. I really do. Huge poggies. Y'all are amazing. Much love. So, I mean, Discord coming to PlayStation, awesome. Can't happen soon enough, in my opinion. Do you have any
Yeah,
other thoughts
very
about
cool.
it, Devin?
I just think that's great. I mean, I feel like I've been hearing whispers of that happening for a little bit now, so it's cool. It's finally here. It's official.
Yeah.
Very PogChamp.
Yeah. And I mean, people are like, oh, early 2022, why so long? But I mean, it feels like just yesterday we were still being like, oh, Cyberpunk's delayed again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
It'll be here in no time. Yeah. The year's going to blast by. We'll have Discord on PlayStation before you know it. Do you think Microsoft's going to follow suit? Do you see them just bringing it to Xbox, after they get a little bit of, pressure from people being like, we want Discord on Xbox too?
I think it would be a smart move for Microsoft. So sure, why not? Maybe one day. they're not lacking on the funds, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely agree. They've got more than enough for it. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think that, I mean, it was just a few weeks ago we were discussing Microsoft potentially buying Discord. You know,
Yeah.
they weren't in talks to purchase Discord. So when I look at something like that, I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me to potentially see a partnership in the future. But at the same time, if they bought Discord and they were going to buy Discord and be like, no, not on PlayStation, maybe Discord wasn't down for that. You know?
I see, yeah. Do you think that there's gonna be some type of like exclusivity thing? Like Sony and Discord are just gonna be buddied up and they're not gonna deal with Microsoft anymore?
I have no idea. I mean, is there any way that Sony currently has to deal with Microsoft? I know
That's
for a
true.
while there. I mean, I know for a while there, I think Discord was working on selling games on their private storefront, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. So something that we could potentially see might be like a PlayStation game sold through Discord type of thing. But PlayStation has finally started being buddy buddy with Steam. And I can't
Right.
imagine that, like, with how well games like Horizon Zero Dawn and, like, you know, Death Stranding and things like that have sold, that Sony's going to look at all that money and be like, probably not anymore. Let's go with only Discord, you know?
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows? Pina Colada in the chat mentioned Discord on Switch. And I think that there isn't a single gaming platform that needs good voice chat more than the Switch. Thanks to Nintendo and their inability to, you know, integrate proper voice chat onto the system.
Ugh.
Yeah. Discord and Switch feels like a match made in heaven to me.
Yeah, I don't know. As someone who plays Smash, that sounds like a nightmare. I don't know if I want to talk to my opponent. Sounds pretty awful. We can leave that one.
The cracked out of their mind Jigglypuff just hit their third rest combo in a row, and they're currently Jigglypuff teabagging you up and down.
Yeah.
And then
And
here
then all
comes,
you hear after is just like, get ready. Like,
yeah,
I don't want
exactly.
that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a squeaker who comes on and is telling you all about how well they know your mother. So it'd be that way sometimes. So, according to an article from Dark Side of Gaming, during the Apple and Epic Games court face-off that's been going on, which, I mean, this has been happening for a couple months now. It's been cooking up. It's been stirring up trouble. Both Dead Island 2 and Saints Row 5 were on a list of upcoming exclusive games to the Epic Games Store that was leaked. It was a pretty big list. A lot of the titles are small, but you can clearly make out a couple. And both Dead Island 2 and Saints Row 5 are on there. How do you feel about this? We'll start with you on this one, Trulia. How do you feel about exclusive games? Do you care about these two games in particular? Are you even familiar with the franchises? What do you think?
I mean, I don't approve of having games that are exclusive to things, only because I feel like if they want to increase their revenue, they should include everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just logic, but
Yeah.
who knows what they're thinking.
Yeah. And that makes sense. I mean, I think realistically though, you know, like when we have an article coming up after this one that kind of explains what the incentive is to, you know, choose to make something exclusive to a platform. But I think largely you're right. You know, I mean, realistically, it makes sense to have your product on as many platforms as possible, just to get as much like reach as you can. Yeah. Did you have more thoughts on it, or were you gonna?
I haven't really looked into those games, honestly. The Dead Island 2, Saints Row 5. I don't even think I've heard of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They're mostly single player games. Like Saints Row 5 is kind of like Grand Theft Auto, but like funnier almost, I want to say.
It's more like goofy. And there was that the one where you have like alien powers or whatever, or was that Saints Row 4?
Saints Row 4 was the one with alien powers specifically.
Yeah, it gets a little mystical sometimes, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, for me, single player games just don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have like all my guildies, so doing single player things, it's like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah. And I get that. I mean, for me personally, like I dabble in single player games every now and then if it's something that really hooks me in. But for the most part, I think I want to say that like most of the single player games I play for a bit and then I'm like, okay, cool. I'll get like maybe 10 hours out of them for the most part. Like it's a lot of fun, but at the same time, I'm like, I really want to go back and play my multiplayer game again and keep making progress on things that I invest so much time into. But I mean, how do you feel about this, Devin? I mean, Dead Island 2, Saints Row 5, Epic Games exclusives. Is this going to stop you from buying them? Is it going to make you want to buy them more? What's the thought here?
It did. I mean, I like having my games on Steam because I just like Steam as my place to purchase games. You know, we talked about this before. It's more than just a place to buy games. It's like it's like your almost like your PC profile, I feel like. So like I you know, if I really have to buy a game somewhere else, it doesn't bum me out too much. I have Epic Games downloaded, so it's not like it's out of my reach or anything, but it's kind of weird. Could just put it everywhere.
Yeah.
Aren't those games on Steam right now?
Uh, Dead
I can
Island,
check.
Dead Island 2. Let's say we had Dead Island Riptide come out. I think Dead Island 2 is supposed to be the new sequel to the Dead Island series, unless I had the title wrong when I was writing the news like article. But I'm pretty sure Dead Island 2 had not come out yet, and a lot of people were
Okay,
excited
yeah,
for it.
you're right.
And people felt like it was pretty much in development hell. And Saints Row 5. I mean, I don't even know if I've seen an official announcement for that yet.
Yeah, I didn't see anything just now.
Yeah, I mean, and so like when I look at both of these two games, I'm like, Saints Row is a really beloved franchise. There's been a lot of hype around Dead Island.
Yeah.
You know, like the sequel coming out, especially because of how long ago they announced it. You know, people were like clamoring for this like 4 years ago. You know, they were excited, they were hyped about it, and it's basically been in development hell since then. I mean, the idea that you take these two games to throw the bag at. You know, even as much as Saints Row
Yeah.
is a loved franchise, it's not a Grand Theft Auto. People might really, really like Saints Row. It is not even close to what GTA is at the end of the day. And it kind of makes me scratch my head a little bit having these two on the exclusive list, because these two games are definitely two games that I could see people being like, yo, no harm, no foul. I'm more than happy to wait.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely.
Most of the people who I know who are really excited about zombie games in general tend to be on console. So they don't have to worry about it. You know, either way, this is coming
Right.
to PlayStation the same day it hits the Epic Game Store, and it's coming to Xbox the same day it hits the Epic Game Store, and it's not coming to Switch because Nintendo refuses to release a console with up-to-date graphics. So, I mean, nothing to worry about. There's yeah, pretty much. Like and it is what it is, you know? I mean, and cool. More Epic Games exclusives. And they're throwing the bag out there to try to get people onto their store. I mean, have you bought any game on the Epic Game Store or gotten any of the games for free, Trulia? Did you even know about that? Do you even have Epic Game Store on your computer?
I think I downloaded it at one point because we were trying. I don't even remember which game it was, but it's been a hot minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like every now and then a free game comes up and people are like, "Okay, let's open up the Epic Game Store for a day and get the free
Yeah.
game." And then they close it and forget. They might not even play the free game, you know? And that's it.
I think that was where Division 2 was from.
I'm pretty sure they gave away Division 2 on there. It might have been
Because
Uplay. I
I
know they've
think
given it
that's
away free on Uplay.
I
I didn't
think
know
that's
that.
the game I was playing on there.
Oh, okay. Right on. They've for sure put the expansions on sale really cheap before on the Epic Game Store. So if you got the expansions too, like during one of the free weekends and like, you know, got a bundle
Yeah,
or whatever.
I think I bundled it
Okay.
because I know one of my guildies was playing it, and then they were like, "Oh, they're having a sale," so like a bunch of us just ended up buying it, and we played it for a couple months.
Yeah. Yeah, something Honey Drop Girl mentioned, they always have coupons. Yeah, you're pretty much always getting a bargain. And Epic Games is making so much from Fortnite that they don't care about losing money at this point. And I mean that leads us straight into our next news article, because Epic Games spent more than $1 billion on launch exclusives in the year 2019. Okay. Absolutely insane amount of money. And this article is from GameDebate.com. They had spent $542 million on 2019 exclusives, with $444 million worth of exclusives for 2020, and then already had $52 million worth of exclusives for 2021. That's 2 years out. Okay.
Snaps.
I mean, $1 billion spent on saying, hey, you
No.
can only get this game on our platform for a certain time.
And they bought them all. They're awful. These people are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Too much money.
Mm-hmm.
Take it away. You know, like I don't really mind the Epic Game Store too much. I'm gonna be honest. Like I prefer Steam wholeheartedly, but it doesn't kill me to buy stuff on Epic Games if I have to. Like if I was a diehard Dead Island 2 fan and that's just where it happened to be coming out at, I guess I'm there, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna not buy it because it's on Epic Games.
Yeah, they almost got me with the Kingdom Hearts collection, but I wasn't ready to buy it another time. You know,
Oh,
they almost got me good there because they finally put it out on PC, and I was like, man, I really want to play Kingdom Hearts. But I mean, I have the collection on my PS4 right now, so what's the point? You know what I mean?
All right.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
really need it. If it hits a sale price, oh, there, dude. As soon as that hits $20, buying it again, done. Like, not even a second thought. I love Kingdom Hearts, but like, I look at something like this, and I'm like, when you think about how much money they're giving developers, I mean, realistically, I mean, I think I saw an article that said that they paid
Crazy.
160 million for the Borderlands 3 exclusivity on the Epic Game Store.
That I bought that
wow.
actually. That's where I bought Borderlands 3. That's the only game I bought on Epic Games.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at a number like that. I mean, $160 million is like dream profits for AAA studios when they release a game. That's like best case scenario profits for a full game release that you release independently, not
Yeah,
on a specific storefront or anything like that. That is insane amount of profit. It's crazy.
it
People
is.
get excited when they sell 5 million copies of a game. Like $160 million straight up to still release it on PC and still release it on consoles just to be like, hey, you just got to go over here to get it now. That's more than worth it,
I
honestly.
agree.
Especially with it coming out on Steam later, anyways. They're still going to catch the whole crowd who was like, I don't want it on Epic Game Store. They literally, if anything, it's better for them because they got to take a little bit of a load off their servers for a bit. From all the crowd that's like, we're not going to play it that day. That's a win-win. I mean, I think they absolutely were right to take that money. And I don't know what Epic Games is thinking, playing the long game, really investing in this game store, especially $1 billion worth. I mean, do you think that we'll eventually hit a point where they're like, okay, we've spent too much on this and it's not working how we want to, time to just accept our fate and partner with Steam? Or do you think they're too deep in it and they just full send?
I think they're too deep. I think they're gonna continue to try to do their own thing because they have the money to do it.
Yeah. I
I
think
think if something happens and God saves us and Fortnite dies, then maybe they might do a merge because they're gonna start running out of funds. But until then, I think as long as they have their own money, they'll keep doing their own thing.
pretty much. I couldn't agree more. And I think that the question for me is I'm really curious what Epic Games is thinking is going to be the next big thing, you know? Because they have the money to do literally everything they want. They have enough money to buy a shopping mall and throw $1 billion at game exclusives on their PC game store. They have literally unlimited funding and resources. I'm curious to see where they go next because clearly they're trying to make something next that's going to grip a different audience than Fortnite, in my opinion, or that's going to grip the same audience and bring them back. I mean, you're going to have to do one or the other, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them just keep on pushing Fortnite and keep it as big as it is and where it's going, and then see, what's going to happen next with the future. That's what I'm thinking.
I'd
So
like to see, maybe the next thing they make would be something cool.
I sure hope so. Whatever it is, I hope you can't build in it during combat. Okay, that's
Yeah.
Do you struggle with that?
yes,
A little bit.
horribly.
Yeah.
Horribly. Like, you put me in any other shooter game, okay, I actually look okay. I look like a real gamer in some of these other shooter games.
Hanging in there, yeah.
Yeah, you put me in Fortnite, you tell me, oh, you got to build and edit, and then you got to shoot. No, I don't. I'm gonna walk around on the ground. I'm terrified of heights. I'm not building a castle to do Mortal Kombat in the sky. Not for a minute. You keep me
No
down
way.
here, nice and low to the floor, where I'm not taking fall damage or anything like that. I'm not worried about that kind of stuff.
Grounded.
Yeah, I don't want to build a whole fort around myself and then shoot people out of it. No, not even the porta fort. I didn't like that too much either. It was always so
How dare you.
disorienting.
Yeah.
Just imagine how epic it is, though, when you jump off of something and you shoot somebody down. Like, that feeling is so good.
I play Apex for that feeling. There's no fall damage in Apex, and there's no building, so I can jump off of objects that are already there that I'm familiar with. It's the same object every time. It's not like I go to fight one group of people and they're like, oh, here's our fortress. Like immediately. You've activated my trap card. My trap card is that I spent 300 hours in the creative range, only building and editing, and that's it. Like, and I don't have to worry about that in Apex, so I play Apex. But I don't know. I think that $1 billion is a bit excessive for exclusives, but in this day and age, that's what it takes. You know, if they really want to get a new storefront out there to compete with the likes of Steam, they're going to have to make a lot of improvements to the storefront, first of all. But you need to be willing to invest that kind of time and effort and money into it to be able to even hold a candle to Steam.
Yeah.
And I think they're on the right track. They're definitely not there yet, but they'll get there because
They're
they have too
working on
much
it.
money to fail.
I think another thing that really helps them out is that like the free game thing. Because like you said, like that gets people onto Epic Games they do it every month, right? A new
Mm-hmm.
free game.
Every month or 2 weeks,
Yeah.
sometimes, depending on if they're doing an event or something like that.
And you got to go back to Epic to play that free game you got if you like it enough. So
Yeah,
that's giving them some traffic right there, I think. It's a
yeah,
good move.
absolutely. And speaking of what Epic Games might be working on next, I mean, obviously my heart goes to MMO. I hope that another company with good money will release a new good MMO. But
Please.
in the meantime, while we're waiting for whatever the next great MMO might be, Burning Crusade Classic launches on June 1st. For those of you who are familiar with World of Warcraft, I mean, the Burning Crusade was the second expansion that came out 2 years after the release of the original game. And Burning Crusade was, I mean, what many people consider to be the best World of Warcraft expansion, besides Wrath of the Lich King, is the other one that's always brought up. And it's pretty much those two, along with Legion now. And Legion was one of the first expansions to kind of go back to a lot of what was, kind of discussed and gone over in the Burning Crusade. So that's a big reason why people loved it so much, was because of the nostalgia. And now you're going to be able to play it again, just like it was back then when it first came out. And I could not be more excited. I mean, you play World of Warcraft, Devin? Have you tried Classic at all?
I played Classic and got to like level 10 and then I stopped because I was playing alone and I
Mm-hmm.
got bored by myself. I was lonely.
That makes sense. Do you have any interest in Burning Crusade Classic?
I mean, I'm interested, but I don't think I'll actually play it. Like, I like the idea of experiencing that classic feel again, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's how I felt with just classic vanilla. I was like, well, I want to get this old WoW experience, but then I actually got into it and I was like, I'm just gonna go play retail again. I'm kind of kind of having a hard time here.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that was something that was an experience for a lot of people who went back to World of Warcraft Classic, was they were like, this just really makes me appreciate how much quality of life stuff is in retail World of Warcraft. Like it
Yeah,
really like just highlighted everything that you had to put up with back in the day that was so obnoxious.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I got into WoW in like late mid to late Cataclysm, I'd say. So I never I've always been pretty recent, I feel like. I never had to experience the bad stuff of classic or
Yeah.
the older expansions.
Yeah. What about you,
There's a lot of
True?
good there too. So,
So much good. Yeah.
yeah.
What about you, True? As someone who has dabbled in more classic, Burning Crusade Classic is coming. You play retail when there's good retail content to digest. I mean, how do you feel about it? Burning Crusade Classic.
I mean, as somebody who's been playing since it came out, I mean, you and I both, I mean, I don't really have that deep desire to go back and do it all again.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with running my guild in WoW for a couple years, like, and starting over with level 1 characters to help people level up their tunes, like,
Yeah.
I understand the appeal of going back and experiencing all that stuff, but I've been there, I've done that. I don't really want to go back and do it all again. and it's so much more challenging back then. Like
Yeah.
it was actually difficult, which I kind of enjoyed, which is also partially why I've kind of torn away from WoW because they've just made it so simplistic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I miss the old content, but I like all the new quality of life stuff that they gave us, like mogging.
Yeah.
Like huge into clothes and fashion, that whole thing, being a girl.
Yeah.
Like I like being able to change what I look like.
Yeah. Say, and fashion is a huge part of the game for a lot of people. I mean, and I ran somebody. I've been leveling up a character in Vanilla WoW to play in Burning Crusade Classic again. And I just hit level like 12, I think, maybe 11. And um, I ran past someone who like had like a fashionable outfit on, and I inspected their character, and it was none of the gear their character would typically wear, because you have to just run around with legitimately a second suit of gear in your bags in the older version. You
Yep.
can't change the look of any of your currently equipped armor. And I think that realistically, you know, what you said about not wanting to go back and do it all over again and stuff like that, like that's exactly why I want to go back, because I felt like when I was there the first time, I missed so much of it because I was just stupid. I was like 12 when Burning Crusade came out. I had no idea how to play the game well. I had no idea what to do or where to go or how to progress or anything like that. I was just getting
You
lost in this big world,
Just a young
you
you
know?
lad.
also didn't take the time to actually enjoy everything. You were very like, I'm gonna
Oh
get to
yeah.
max level. I'm gonna do everything like all elitist, and I was over here like tooling around in the flowers, like trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but that's the fun that I have though, is doing that. And even trying to do that at 12 years old, I had no idea what I was doing, so I wasn't even good at it. I didn't even get to
Yeah.
see all the cool stuff. Like I still sucked, you know? And that was the worst. So like being that I want to get to experience that part of it, I'm really excited for this personally, because it's like we're finally going to get to experience this again. And that was one of the most fun things in Classic, was like I mean, I was on the server that I was playing on, you know, I was still working at the time, so like I had to hit a couple of hours of overtime, like the last couple of days of my grind. But for the first like probably 4 days of World of Warcraft Classic launch, I was in like the top 3 um slot for mages that were racing to get like server first to level 60. Like, I mean, for the first like 4 days of the game being out, I was like on it. I was grinding hard. I was keeping up with everybody. I pulled ahead a couple of times, then I'd go to sleep and wake up. They'd be ahead, and then they'd go to sleep and I'd pull ahead, you know? And then eventually I had to go back to work, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I lost so much sleep. And then, but I was the first person in my guild to hit level 60. I was starting to gear. I was helping other people get geared. I was farming gold. I was doing all that stuff, and I was having so much fun with it. And this is another opportunity to do that in a different part of World of Warcraft's life cycle that I didn't get to experience fully because I didn't understand, you know? So like being able to go back and like hit all of that nostalgia of, you know, going through the dark portal for the first time into space, into a new world, you know, and play with all the class updates and everything like that. Like Burning Crusade was my favorite World of Warcraft expansion by far. Like, I mean, even as good as Wrath of the Lich King was, even as good as Legion was, this was the peak of World of Warcraft for me and my love for the game. So, like, there is not a chance I'm not going to go back and give it another shot. There's just no way. There's absolutely no way.
Are you going for world first? You gonna be world
Absolutely.
first this time? Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm going to try. I don't think I'm going to do it because I'm planning on leveling a holy paladin, but I mean, who knows? I might switch it over to retribution just for the leveling process. I can't imagine there's going to be that many people playing paladin. Everybody's going to be playing warlock, they're going to be playing hunter, you know, they're going to be mages obviously, you know, and I think those are the big 3 for Burning Crusade. So, we'll see what happens. I might sneak in a realm first. Realm first, not world first. I'm not crazy,
realm, okay.
you know, I'm just a little delusional. Okay. But the last bit of news on our list here, moving on from World of Warcraft, because I could talk about World of Warcraft for hours, but we got to talk about something else. You can now buy Queen Elizabeth's 24 karat gold Wii, the original Wii, from the Queen herself. She never actually got it. This is an article from GameBite.com that mentioned this. It's on sale for $300,000 on eBay. Wow. I didn't even know the Queen wanted a Wii.
I'm buying it.
You're buying it?
I'm buying it.
You got $300,000?
Don't worry about it. I'm buying it.
How you feel? How you feel about it, Devin? Tell us your thoughts on the Queen's 24 karat gold Wii.
If there's any way to play Wii Sports, it's on a 24 karat gold Wii. It's valued at $300,000.
We got
No other way.
We got Shoria pitching in $5. We're about to start a GoFundMe to buy the Queen's gold Wii for Gaming Tonic. Mm-hmm.
We'll put it in an official studio one day.
I see. Do y'all remember that GIF of I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's the Queen and the cows come out, and she's like, "Oh, cows!" You know, like she gets all excited because she sees like a cow. She just gets like thrilled about it. Have you seen that GIF?
Mean, as somebody who loves cows, like I understand.
Yeah. But like I just imagine
cows.
that same enthusiasm, you know, when she's playing like Wii bowling or something like that. Just like this incredibly elderly, frail lady, just like Wii bowling, and she's like, "Ooh, a strike," you know?
Ooh, yeah, oh, spare! That Wiimote's probably so heavy.
24 karat gold Wiimote, yeah.
You got to wear the safety strap when you're using that thing. That'll go right through your wall.
Well, didn't they say it was plated, not actual like dense brick? You know.
I'm sure it still adds a bit of weight to it though.
You coat anything in a metal substance, I imagine it's going to get heavier. You know what I mean?
That would
Even
be
gold
insane.
plating.
If
Like
it
the
was
plastic
actually
is
a
so
brick
light.
of gold, it's like
They make the gold flakes though, and all that stuff. So it's like if it's like a really delicate thin layer, like.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It could definitely be something like that. I mean, I have no idea. I haven't held it personally. I probably will never get the chance because I still will not pay $300,000 for a Wii, no matter what
Yeah.
how shiny it is or what substance is on there. I mean, that there's just no chance. But it's cool, you know. It's just a fun bit of news.
that is a fun one.
I thought it was interesting when I came across this. I was like, how do we not talk about the Queen? About someone making a 24 karat gold Wii for the Queen. There's no chance. We have to talk about this. It's worthy of discussion. You know what I mean?
I'm just utterly disappointed that she never got it.
Yeah. That was
It is a shame.
the one part of the article that made me the most sad. She never actually got it, and everyone thought it was just disappeared to the world, like some like Indiana Jones type situation where Harrison Ford was going to go find the Queen's lost Wii. And like finally it resurfaced from some collector who's now selling it for $300,000, and I don't know how he came to have it. Okay. But it sounds to me like he's the bad guy and he's going to profit. So, you know,
He's the
Yep.
fence. Yeah, he did.
yeah, absolutely.
The middleman.
So, our topic for today, if you're watching live, you can see it at the top. If you're listening to the podcast and you clicked on the title, we're talking about role playing and gaming. And I'm actually excited to talk about this one. We've kind of like skirted around this topic in a few other podcast episodes, discussed it a little bit. We've brought up D&D, we brought up World of Warcraft, you know, we've talked about Guild Wars, stuff like that. You know, GTA RP, very popular nowadays. There's a lot to like about role playing and gaming, and it's really like just these last like 5 years or so started to have like a huge resurgence in popularity. And I think largely in part to both like the Dungeons and Dragons uptick in popularity as well as Grand Theft Auto roleplay. I think those two things are probably the biggest influencers on roleplay really kicking back off and getting interesting for people again. So, Trulia, obviously, I think this one should be a real easy question answer for you. Have you ever done any roleplay in a video game?
Absolutely.
Which ones?
Absolutely.
Tell us all the games you've roleplayed in.
Okay, I've mostly role played in WoW and BDO, but I've also attempted to do it in Final Fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, um, Think Brain. I said one earlier that I was trying to remember, but it's not
World of
coming to
Warcraft,
me.
right?
Was
I said
it
World of Warcraft.
Oh, sorry.
EverQuest too?
EverQuest.
EverQuest too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes. Dabbled in those a little bit.
Devin
And I
actually
mean,
having
there's
a memory.
always like
Yeah, whoa.
Discord RP and like channels like that where you just RP through the chat instead of actually having a physical character to look at while you roleplay.
I've actually seen those before, like in a few discords. Like I'll go into a discord and they'll have like just a like dungeon channel. One of my buddies' discords actually, he's got a Pokemon bot set up where you can go in and like be a Pokemon trainer inside of Discord and catch Pokemon and rest your Pokemon and all that stuff. It's kind of
Whoa.
cool.
I'm legit disappointed that you didn't say that you could play the Pokemon. Like, just have somebody there, just like Pika Pika, like just randomly throughout the. Like,
The fact that disappoints you tells me everything I need to know. Personally, I have no interest in sitting in a call and being somebody's Pokemon. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's some strange ERP for somebody else that I don't swing for personally. But it's 2021, so you know we out here.
You do you, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If people want that energy, then be about that energy.
they're just embracing their Pokemon furry life. Like, just let them live. Let
Yeah.
them live.
Yeah, I mean they're out there doing their own thing. You know, I vibe with people being exactly who they are. Devin, have you ever done any role play in a video game?
The only role play I've ever done in a video game is actually Grand Theft Auto role playing.
What was your character? Say,
Uh
you remember?
I do remember. It's just
Oh, come on, lay it on me. I'm ready.
I was just this like I played, you know, this like ditzy guy who lived in an RV and just drove around, and all I did was like try to rob stores and cause chaos. Whenever I ran into people, I always tried to start fights and stuff. It was
Wow.
I was just an agent of chaos. That's all I did.
Dude, you were living out that role play perfectly. I mean, it sounds
Yeah.
like you had your role and you accomplished it to the nines. I mean,
I
that's
wrote
great.
up a little. I had to apply to the server that I was playing on. I had to like write up a story from him. He was like this. He's from Chicago, and he was like just this crime dude. It was so funny. All I did was mess with people. It was great within the rules of the server, of course.
Dude, from what I've watched of GTA RP, like I look at the people who choose to be police and I'm like, you just have to be the most boring person to want to be the cop in that environment. You know what I mean? Like it just feels like such a safe pick. Like you could do anything you wanted as anybody else and you're like, nah, I think I'd like to be part of the police force. Like when I hear that somebody wants to be a cop in GTA RP with all the potential other awesome options, I'm like, what kind of water do you want with your plain lays, you vanilla human being?
Plain
Like
lays.
Wait
I
a
mean,
second, though.
I just
Hold
can't.
up.
I don't see the appeal of being the cop in that scenario with all the stuff you can do.
I mean, you could be a corrupt cop, per
Can you?
se.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I think some servers might have rules against that, but
yeah.
there might be stuff that goes on, like little
server
like
rules
trades of
created
information.
server rules created by the creators of the game, or server rules
Well, the
created
admins for each
by.
server. Yeah, usually
Yeah.
they host the
Okay.
server, they make their own rule set. You know, cops have to do certain things, and if you get caught by a cop, you have to adhere to certain things and stuff like that. Like it's very in depth. They usually have a pretty detailed rule set. Like I just slapped my mic. I'm sorry. In the event that like you could be a corrupt cop, that actually sounds spicy. That sounds cool. But there
Well,
can
that's
only
what I
be
was
so
saying.
many. You know.
You
Like
can't hate on people because they want to be a cop, because if there's alternative options in different servers, like just go where you want to go to be what you want to be.
I can absolutely hate on people for wanting to be the cops. What do you mean? That's totally within my rights. I don't even hate on him. I just think it sounds boring. I just think choosing to be the cop in that environment, like, and Kinasu in the chat was like, oh, the cop would have so much to do, but I'm like, yeah, like write parking tickets and chase people in slower vehicles that they didn't steal for fun. You can't walk around fighting every pedestrian if you're the police. Well, apparently you
True.
can, America.
Well-
But I mean, who knows? Who actually knows? It's like I look at the GTRP and I'm like, there's so many awesome options for characters you can be, but at the same time, maybe there's somebody out here who enjoys it. You know what I mean? I mean, would you want to be the cop, Devin?
I was gonna say I watch a streamer named Timac, and he usually plays cop, and it's pretty fun to watch. It looks like there's a lot more that goes on than you'd think. Like especially with you just have to think about all the people that are role playing as like these criminal bosses and that are robbing banks and all kinds of stuff. Like there's always something to do. And usually those people, when you run into them, will give you like a pretty good interaction because they're role playing. They're not gonna just like. I mean, they'll run and stuff, but usually when you catch them, it's always a good time.
So you say it's always a good time. Like break it down for me. How is it when
It's
they
fun
catch
to
one of the bad
watch.
guys?
They just crack wise and like even when they're running, there's like so many creative like the chases are probably the most entertaining part for a police officer, I'd assume, because like there's people that'll get in boats sometimes, or like they'll take it from like boat to car, or they'll drive a car around and like while they're driving, they'll call their buddy and like their buddy will meet them up here with like a faster car and they'll hop out and run in the other car real quick and take off. Like there's spike strips now. They got all kinds of cool stuff.
Okay, so there's some tools to make it more fun. You
Yeah.
know?
And they nerf like they try to balance it out, if there's like something that's too strong about cops, then they take that away. If the criminals are doing stuff that's too much for the cops, then they'll nerf that. Like they try.
I mean, and I look at all that stuff, I'm like, cool, but even still, I don't know, man. You'd have a hard time convincing me to be the cop. And I think
I mean,
that's something that's like incredible about roleplay though, is like a lot of it is limited by your imagination,
yeah.
Like when I in my finite brain imagine having to be a policeman in a video game, I'm like I fall asleep. I am not creative in the way that I would police things. I would just be like, yo, bad, got him, take him out. Like, it's over. Call it good. But I don't even think you can do that as the cop in GTA RP for the most part. You can't just like run around shooting people. So it's I'm like, where's the fun in that? That's how you solve situations in video games. You beat the bad guys. That's it.
Yep.
And if you're the bad guys, the cops are the bad guys. You can beat them however you want. You're a bad guy. all
True.
bets are off. You know what I mean? I like
Very
that
true.
energy a lot more.
There's definitely a lot more creativity in being like a pedestrian or a criminal in RP, I think, than being a police officer. You're kind of limited a little bit there, but you still have your imagination. That is true.
Jimmy said, "Bullets are my citations." Yep. I don't like your
Dang.
parking, sir. Get them. All right.
Boom.
Wow.
So I've also role played in video games a couple of times. I've tested the waters a little bit. You know, I think that it's cool. I wish I was a little bit more creative with stuff sometimes, but usually, like if I'm around other people who have creative minds, I can play off of them pretty quickly. You know, like not a lot of it stems from my own creativity for role play, but if I'm around other people who are really into it, like I'm very empathetic. So if they're like excited and vibing and having a good time, I'm in it. I'm super in it. Yeah, I've been on a WoW RP server personally for sure. One of our questions later on will actually discuss a little bit about our experiences with roleplay too. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up. But have y'all ever played Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes.
One time.
One time. Okay, Devin, how was your experience with Dungeons and Dragons?
Really fun. I wish it was more than one time. It was great. I feel like I scratched the surface. I didn't even really get to know everything. I wanna play again. I don't know where to find groups. You know.
Yeah, I feel. I know we've been skirting around the idea of potentially doing a streamer Dungeons and Dragons group on live stream, and I think that could definitely be a lot of fun if that's something that we end up doing. And I will for sure be in your DMs in the event that
Yeah,
that
that
comes
would
to
be
fruition.
fun.
So,
I'll bring wooden bowls.
oh gosh, okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. My sister's time playing Dungeons and Dragons was with me. We'll bring up the wooden bowls later. Devin, do you remember what character you played in Dungeons and Dragons?
I don't. It's been a while.
Okay, all right. I had to ask.
I remember very few details about my experience.
How long ago was it?
Probably like 3 years ago, but
Okay.
you know me, I like it. It's longer than a week. It's pretty archived forever.
Bro, you remember the game she played earlier? I was like, whew, man, Devin out here today. He's on it with the
right?
memory.
Yeah.
Mad respect. All right. So, what about you, Drew? You've played Dungeons and Dragons. You said yes. You know, how'd you like it? Tell me your thoughts about Dungeons and Dragons.
I love Dungeons and Dragons. I love being able to like get the little miniatures of what you want and being able to pick and customize your character, give them their stats, and then just kind of going throughout the world. It's a great time. And of course, we played it with family and friends, so we
Yeah.
just have a blast doing some of the silliest stuff, like the wooden bowls.
So, the wooden bowls.
Yeah, what is this wooden bowl thing?
We have to bring it up because at some point during our Dungeons and Dragons adventure, very early on, my sister came across a pair of wooden bowls, and there was nothing important about them, nothing significant about them. We tried detecting magic on the wooden bowls, and there was nothing even remotely relevant about these two wooden bowls. And she was like, "I'm taking them with me just in case we need them later." And our dad, who was the dungeon master, you know, he was like, "You find nothing significant about these wooden bowls, are you sure?" You know? And like, meanwhile, there's combat happening, okay? Nearby. Like people are fighting and dying nearby. And she's like, "I pick up the wooden bowls." Like, you know? And Duncan almost died while you were fantasizing about your wooden bowls. That
Hold up.
happened.
The wooden bowls were significant because we didn't have anything to put water in. And I could make healing water because I was a druid and I had a hippogriff pet that was fighting with you guys. So I felt comfortable having my wooden bowls.
But you didn't say that. This is the first time I've ever in my life heard you explain your thought process. You literally only went, "Y'all are fighting, I'm going back for the bowls." That's it. Like that was
back.
literally the farthest I heard an explanation from you. I had no idea you actually had a reason for wanting the wooden bowls. You've never explained it to me.
I think that's part of the fun about doing things, though, is that you don't always have to tell everybody what's happening.
That's true.
Yep.
Just keep them guessing.
That's true. And I mean, similarly in that D&D game, I mean, we would have our buddy Duncan, who was playing a thief. He would like slip a note on a Post-it to my dad, who was the dungeon master, you know, and like he would try to pickpocket and steal things from other people that they looted.
Yeah.
And he was just stealing things from people all the time. He was playing the thief. He was being a rascal, you know. He was out there being that, you know, chaotic neutral, out here for himself, trying to get ahead no matter what, thief. And that's the fun of like Dungeons and Dragons specifically, is being able to just get out there and role play and be exactly whatever the heck you want your character to be. You know, you step into the role and you live it up or you don't. I think that's awesome.
So cool. Yeah.
For me personally, I've been struggling with it because we're playing a game of D&D right now, and I'm playing a paladin. I think it's either paladin or cleric or something like that. I'm pretty sure it's paladin because I'm like more warrior archetype than priest. But it might be classified as cleric. I'm having a hard time remembering because it was like 2 weeks ago. You know, obviously my memory sucks. But one of the things that was difficult was we came across a chest. We opened the chest. It's me and one other person, you know, and you know, my dad looks at me because he's the dungeon master again, and he's like, "Hey, you know, what are you gonna do with the treasure?" And I was like, I'm looking at him. I'm like, we do not have to tell them we just found treasure, but I'm a paladin. Okay, so if you're a paladin and you do things that are evil, then you lose your paladin status and you actually turn into like a fighter or warrior or whatever, and then you know you lose a bunch of your holy abilities and all that stuff if you do evil things. That's how it works inside of the world that we're playing in. So I have to continue to do good things if I want to be able to use my holy magic and cure people and do healing and stuff like that. Similarly, we fell into a large, you know, area of water and somebody was drowning. And I was like, look, this person has been bugging me for a while now. Can I just let him drown and not help? You know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm a paladin, so I can't let him drown. I got to play the role and go over there and help him out, or I lose my holy status, you know? So I have to help people. So it's making me somebody who's typically, you know, a chaotic good, chaotic neutral in that area type of player, where I'm like, hey, you know, maybe just this one time, you know, let's mix it up a little bit, do something a little bit on the more bad side of things, but ultimately for the betterment of the group through the betterment of myself. And like it's not allowed me to, you know, do that much gameplay that's in that kind of a vein. And because of that, I'm, you know, learning to role play a different type of character inside of Dungeons and Dragons. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool getting to do something, be something different. It's been interesting.
What did you end up doing with that treasure? Did you?
Yeah, I told everybody we shared it. We shared it.
Okay.
Yeah, it sucked. Yeah.
That disappointed look on his face.
Yeah.
We shared it. We shared it.
Yeah, but in return, you know, I still get to continue to do holy magic as a paladin. So it's kind of worth it. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see if it's worth it. Hopefully. If it keeps getting that much worse, I'm just going to bite the bullet and be a bad guy and have to be a fighter with way worse stats. Because that's the other thing. Like, if you lose your paladin status and go into a fighter or warrior, or whatever it is you turn into afterwards, it's you like gain XP at half the rate of everybody else because that's not what you were originally were. And you're trying to be something else now, so it's harder for you to learn to do something different. So there's big disadvantages to being like, no, I'm tired of being a paladin. I want to be a bad guy now. So, you know, a lot of incentive for you to continue to be a good person. So, I mean, Dungeons and Dragons kind of like, you know, a easy stepping stone for a lot of people into role playing. Would you ever do LARPing? We'll start with you on this one, Trulio. How do you feel about it, LARPing?
Absolutely. I mean, you basically just like embrace that whole persona and then you're just out there and you're just hitting people with objects. Like, I'm so down for that.
I just see you like the part of that you sounded the most excited about was hitting people with objects. Okay, like for some reason in my mind I just see you sitting on your couch like browsing your phone or whatever, looking at TikTok videos, and you're like, and people are like, oh hey, for anyone who doesn't know, LARPing is live action role play, and you're there and you're browsing TikTok and you're just like, oh, whatever, what am I gonna do today? And you know, like you know, Ferb comes out and is like, yo, you know what we're gonna do today, Phineas? We're gonna go LARPing. And you're like, I don't care about LARPing. Why would I want to LARP? And then you're like, but we're going to get to hit people with objects. And you're like, hitting people with objects. Yes, we're out there. Sign me up. Dress me up in the clothes, whatever it takes. We're going to hit people with things. Sounds wonderful.
Get me my wooden bowls.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I actually have real wooden bowls that I was gifted for my wedding. Do you remember that, Vincent?
Who gifted you the wooden bowls? I do remember. I remember you getting them.
It was for the painting ceremony.
Oh my, yeah. Were they from Dad?
Yes.
Okay, I thought so. I was like, who was it that like finally?
I can bring my wooden bowls and I can hit people with them.
Yeah, there you go.
Wonderful.
Club people.
Yeah, or fill them up with, healing water or whatever, apparently that you had a real reason for doing that. So,
Absolutely.
what about you, Devin? Would you ever do LARPing?
Yeah, I'd try it. I've never done it before. No shame in trying. Sounds fun. I've seen like videos about it. I think my first realization that LARPing was a thing was have you ever seen the movie Role Models?
Yeah.
That's what I remember seeing that and being like thinking it was cool. I was like, I want to do what those guys are doing.
Yeah.
That looks fun.
And dude,
But
I swear a lot of people felt that same thing because I think it was something that was in there to be a meme, but then a whole bunch of people were like, okay, that actually looks like kind of a really good
yeah.
time. I mean, I love the idea personally. I mean, I don't like the idea of magic spells inside of LARPing. I think that, like, personally, that's the one thing that takes me out of it. I always go back to that one YouTube video of that guy who's, like, throwing, like, pebbles and lightning bolt.
Oh, yeah, lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt. And he's just, like, throwing powder at people and stuff like that, and it's, like, doing nothing, but they have to act like it does, you know? Like magic and LARPing would be the hardest thing for me to be like, dude, you just sprinkled some salt on me, bro. Like, I'm
I
not here
love
for
the
that.
commitment, though. I love the
Yeah.
commitment. Like, he actually brought things with him to, like, throw at people so that they know when to react. Because
Yeah.
you aren't, like, somebody can say the word, but then how do you know how long it's going to take for that object to get to you? Whereas he brought a rock, so, like, when it hits you, then you can react to it. Like,
A rock.
that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Why not like
don't
maybe
throw
like
rocks
a
at people.
squirt gun or something? Like, I
Okay,
feel
a
like
pebble, a pebble.
Yeah.
Okay, we can make it smaller.
A
just
boulder.
right in the head, dude.
Well, but then
Jeez.
they'd really be reacting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
dude.
role playing. You're not supposed to actually get injured. But like the idea of, have you guys seen like those massive like Nerf sword and shield battles that were happening for a while there? Obviously before COVID, but like just like massive like groups of people like beating each other with Nerf weapons. I thought that was awesome. I think that'd be super cool. Like I love that sort of thing. I just in general like takes me back to when I was like 6 years old with my buddy Harold, who we've had on the podcast before. He's lamer. And he's still got a scar over his eye because we were sword fighting with pieces of like old rusty rebar, because apparently that's safe for 6 and 7 year olds to do, and that's what you did when you were a kid. You sword fighted with whatever it was that you could find a sword fight with. Sticks, rebar, pool noodles, whatever. You know what I mean? It was just that was the vibe.
I just need to know where you got the rebar from.
It was in like the back of Grandma's house. To say it was somewhere in there.
You were digging.
Yeah, no, it was definitely in there. We were just like going and climbing over stuff because that's what you do when you're young and have too much energy and nothing else to do.
Had to get it out.
So yeah. So we found the rebar and we fought each other with rebar and I hit him in the face and he still got a scar from it. But hey, he didn't block it, so he didn't block it. You know what I mean? Yeah. How about live action role play? Somebody with some sword fighting skills, my man. Okay, but like,
carry this casual.
Exactly. Imagine not being ranked in rebar sword fighting at 7 years old. Couldn't be me. But like for me personally, I think under the right circumstances, I might do LARPing. I already am not crazy about like costume or dressing up or anything like that. So there's not much of that I'm excited about. But like definitely like sword and shield, getting out there and swinging a little bit. Like I'd be down for that. I think that'd be super fun. I think it'd be cool. I would for sure vibe with that.
I agree.
So inside of like, video games, Dungeons and Dragons, live action role play, whatever it is, what do you think is the most important part of good role play? In your opinion, Devin, we'll go to you first on this one.
I would have to say, in my experience, which is very limited, so in Grand Theft Auto, the most important part for me was just like good character building and like people who would talk to you and you could tell they actually had like some type of story behind their character and it wasn't just like them being on a Grand Theft Auto RP server to just like mess around. And I don't, you could tell there were two different types of people, like the people that were there to just actually destroy stuff with no intention, and then there were people that had some kind of intent or like some backstory behind whatever they were doing. It was all about the dialogue. Like that was what made it fun. I just enjoyed talking to people more than anything.
Makes sense.
Coherent stuff.
Yeah. So people who are like actually invested in their character and know what they want to be, and they do it, and they're not just there to troll, or they're not just there to like mess around with other people actually trying to roleplay. People who have a commitment to their character and they execute it. You know, like
Eh,
the
yeah,
personal, like, I step into this identity and I'm them and I do it big.
exactly. And then to kind of like play into that too, like when another person plays along with like whatever you have
Mm,
going on, and like you play along with what they have going on. When there's like that unspoken mutual just understanding that you guys are going to play along with these characters that you've created, I think that's extremely important.
yeah. And like I think that for sure having a good counterpart to play off of, especially in the event of like online roleplay like that, you know what I mean? Like it's so important.
Yeah.
It's so important because if it's just you out there and you're like, "Yes, I'm the police. Hello, sir." I can't do a good cop. I can't. To save my life. And the other person's just like, "Oh, ha ha ha. Yeah, whatever, man. Like screw you." It's just me and my boys on here RPing right now, like, and they're just there to screw around. Like
Yeah,
that kills the whole vibe. If you're out there
it
being
does.
the cop, it kills it for everybody when they're just out there like screwing around and not actually trying to do it when you're on a server specifically for that. It can derail your entire mood, and that
One
sucks.
thing that used to like really get to me, which was like one of the reasons I think I stopped, is like people on that server had no like self-preservation. Like they played without worrying about death, you know? And I guess in some circumstances some people might not be worried about that, but like I feel like for the most part you don't want to die in real life, so like you try not to kill your character, you know? There's no that irritated me a lot. Like people would just throw themselves into like really weird situations when it like wouldn't match what someone would do in real life, you know?
Well,
Yeah,
Even
some
knowing what you know
people
about a character.
yeah.
some people also do that though because they get tired of playing their character and they want to switch to somebody else. So they're like,
Mm,
Well,
I'll just plan to kill off my character and switch from being a warrior to a wizard or something. Like
yeah.
it's just
I I understand that. Like there you could tell when someone was like for example, if you're a police officer or let's say two of the rival gangs were fighting in
Hmm.
Grand Theft Auto, like you're not just gonna run out guns blazing as one dude against like six guys with like just your fists when you know that they have ARs waiting for you outside, you know? Like
Yeah.
people would do stuff like that and it's like, what in what scenario did you think you were winning there? Why would you do that? Like that doesn't even do anything for RP. You're going out with fists like
well,
Jeez.
it could also be some sort of martyrdom. Like you don't like
at
there's could be more to the story than what you're
least
just
give our
seeing.
boy a pistol, go out shooting a little bit. I feel like that's a little more dramatic. Like
Give him a double barrel. It's only two shots,
you're
but at
not
least
doing
it's
anything
something,
with
you know?
these.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. So, what about you, True? I mean, what do you feel is the most important part of good roleplay? We've discussed a couple of things already, but for you as someone who does it often in a lot of different games, what do you feel is the most important part overall of good roleplay?
Uh, honestly, I agree with a lot of what he said, but I also think something else that's important is like when you're in a group setting,
Hmm.
like trying to stay focused because especially when there's a lot of chat going on, like just trying to keep up with everything, you really have to like be on top of it. And I know sometimes people get lost in the conversations. So I don't know. It's a lot of hard work to kind of follow things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that character breaking is another one. Cause like I have some people that I've RP'd with before where they're like their character seems to have like a good head on their shoulders and they're going with like this honesty thing and then all of a sudden they're like playing this evil character and it's like where
Consistency, yeah. Who is
yeah
your character? Who are you supposed to be
yeah
right now? And
Yeah.
yeah
especially if people have to play off of your character, you know what I mean? Or if, like you said, it can be hard sometimes to keep up with like all the chat that's happening, to keep up with all the conversations that are going on. I mean, being in a Discord call with a whole bunch of different people, staying on track. I mean, it gets that much harder when somebody's suddenly flipping the script on their whole character and who they've said they're going to be. So like,
yeah
for sure being, focused on exactly what it is that you want to do and be, and then executing that one thing really well, and not just screwing over a whole bunch of other people's art play or, role plays because you get bored.
yeah and I
Yeah.
think that also has to do with the fact though what he was talking about when he was saying that um you have people that are trying to like be a specific character and then they kill their character off.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing. Like you have that option, so why are you flipping the switch. And you can have multiple characters that you RP with for different scenarios. So at the same time, why are you cutting off in the middle?
Yeah, because I
Right.
mean, there could be a lot of
Commitment to
people.
the character. Like it's so important, I feel.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and honestly, like for me to answer this question 100%, I think commitment to your character is the most important thing. I hadn't even considered like being able to actually pay attention and keep up with like the chats that are happening and the dialogue and being aware of the current situation inside of your role play. Because like for me, I mean, I equate that to like missing your line in a TV show almost.
Yeah.
You know, like or like something in a live performance. If you ever go to see a play that's put on by high schoolers or something like that, like there are, you know, 6 other people on stage with you potentially who are waiting for you to hit that line and give them that cue, because you have planned this out and you have gone over this, and like in your head you're ready and you expect them to be a certain way, and then all of a sudden they are not there with that line and they are doing something
Yeah.
completely different, you know. You're out there
Well,
reenacting The Great Gatsby and they're dropping lines from Hamlet, like, and then what do people do? You know what I'm saying? Like how do you recover from something like that?
Well, you also have to pay attention to the other people around you because you could be having a conversation with one person over here and
Yeah.
then they're like, "Oh, my character's going to leave." And then they leave and then you have to go join somebody else's group.
Mhm.
And one of those people in that group is like, "I went AFK to go take my dogs out or something," you know. So you have to like be focused on what's going on around you cuz you never know how you have to jump into another conversation. Or if somebody approaches you randomly, you have to like be looking for somebody to tag your name or something.
Yeah. And I mean, for me personally, like commitment to character is 100% the most important thing. Like as someone who doesn't role play very often, like the times that I do get involved with it, the most fun that I have with it is when people are just like full send committed to what they're doing and they're like
yeah.
enthralled about it and enthusiastic about it. That's when I have the most fun engaging with things like that. Is when people are just like, I don't give two cares about what a single person in here thinks about me or anything like that. This is me and who I am, and you're gonna experience it. And I think that's excellent. Like I get passionate when people get passionate. Like I
Yeah.
love to like just like ride the high of somebody else's energy about what they're doing. I live for those moments. It's so fun for me. So when I see somebody, you know, getting real excited or real enthusiastic or passionate about being, you know, a dwarf fighter, and they're like, I'm a drunk, I'm a dwarf, I like to fight, I love stones, you know, that sort of thing. Like, I mean, I'm all for that energy. I love it, you know, and it's easy for me to play off of that. And I think that's probably the hardest thing about role play for me is it's hard for me to start with that energy. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
hard for me to come out the gate with that type of vibe. So I think that that's probably the most important thing to me for sure, because like when I see other people do it, that's what makes it the most fun for me. Is when I see them just fully committed and engrossed in their character and excited about it, and they're there just having a good time with everybody. So,
I
and
think that
similarly when they're not, it's awful. It's
oh
so
yeah.
bad.
I think that story you told about like your paladin and how you're being a good guy even though you're in these scenarios where you would rather play for yourself a little more, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's a great example of like being committed to the character regardless of self gain. Like a lot of people are in it for that sometimes, I feel like. But you gotta stay with the character. That's
Yeah.
couldn't have said
Yeah.
it better.
One
Committed.
of the silliest things I ever saw when I was RPing in WoW
Mhm.
was they just had burned Teldrassil down, the Horde side, and I was in Stormwind, and this lady walked up to me, this human, and she's all like, she had a squirrel next to her, and I was like, okay, no big deal. And she like full on like approached me saying how this squirrel deserves all of our praise because they saved all the other animals in the forest and all this stuff. And she was like fully committed to like worshiping this squirrel, and I was like
Worshiping the
laughing.
squirrel.
Yes. And it was so good because she was just like fully into it and like Lord Scrollington and all this stuff. And I was just like, okay.
Holy squirrel.
Just full send,
Yeah,
worshiping the squirrel.
it was
We out
so
here.
good.
Shorty on the chat said she sounds nuts.
Okay, alright. That's enough.
That's a S plus tier joke right there.
We're done.
We love
No
puns. And I mean, I think that stuff like that and seeing someone go like that, just all out for the character, like not only does it make it better in that moment, but I think it also like loosens everybody else up who might not be super sure about, you know, the role play environment. I think seeing people who commit that hard and go that hard on things and just have fun with it, it really lightens the mood and gets everyone else to loosen up too. You know, especially if they're just starting to get into it and getting, you know, break into the. Oh, my cat just bit me when I was petting her so that she'd stop crying. Yeah, okay, kitty, fine. Like, I think it really like lightens the mood for everybody else and allows everyone to have some more fun with it and kind of like chill out and be like, okay, let's just be playful, have a good time, enjoy ourselves, get out here and do this thing. I love that energy. I really do. So, what was your best memory of role play? Inside of a game, inside of D&D, LARPing, if you've done any of that, any environment that you could possibly do RP. Obviously, keep it PG-13, within reason here for the sake of the podcast. But what was your favorite time ever doing it? We'll start with you on this one, Devin.
Oh man, I might have to think about this one. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, if you need a second, we can go with Trulia.
Yeah. Give me a second here.
All right, hit us with it, Trulia. Best memory of role playing.
That is so hard to pick because there's so many good ones. Just because there's so many different people that you meet and come into contact with, like the squirrely lady. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that one was pretty fantastic. But I'd probably have to go with the first roleplay event I actually hosted,
Mhm.
which was this really long adventure into Ungoro Crater.
Yeah.
And we were looking for this goblin that stole a crystal. And
real quick, Ungoro Crater, for anyone who doesn't know, it's this one area in World of Warcraft that's like in the middle of a desert, and for some reason there's dinosaurs in there. And this entire like section of the desert is like a big crater, and it's tropical, and it's like one of the only places in World of Warcraft that has dinosaurs like that. So yeah, really just like out of nowhere, this big like oasis basically with dinos. It's like taking a step back in time. So keep going with your story. I just wanted to clear that up for everybody.
Yeah, so we ventured from where the goblins were, and then we went up to this cave where the fire elementals were. You probably know where that is. And then we found the little dead goblin on the ground with the crystal. But then somebody came through a portal and stole it, so then we had to go find it again, which sent us to another place, obviously. But that was like the start of when I really started getting into more serious roleplay adventures because I was creating it.
And that's awesome. And it's just you and your guildies go on an expedition into dinosaur land in the middle of a desert in World of Warcraft, okay, in this mysterious oasis, and you go and you find a goblin with a dead goblin with a crystal, and somebody come up and steal it. And they're gone, and you got to chase them. And I mean, and that's something that's a story that's completely independent to you guys. It's not written, it's not scripted inside of World of Warcraft. It's just your imagination is your limit. And that's cool. You know what I mean? Like that's something that like if it happened as a quest in World of Warcraft, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. That's World of Warcraft. Like that checks out for me. That works inside of that universe with the other events and things like that have been happening. And I think that's awesome. I think that's so cool. That's a sick memory. Have you come up with one, Devin?
About to sneeze. Hang on, give me a second.
No, you're good. You're good. Bless you. Bless you. It's okay. Say. Did you do it? Did you sneeze?
We can't hear you.
Is he still muted? He is still muted.
Yeah, I'm muted. It's not coming. It's not coming.
All right. Whew. All right. He made it. He made it. He's okay.
He fanned it away.
Yeah.
Whew, that was tough. I felt it. It might come later. We'll see. But
all right.
Anyway, as far as my best memory of RPing goes, I'd probably say that it was that one time I played Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
That was a lot of fun for me. Yeah. I remember I don't remember my class or anything like that, but it was with a bunch of my friends and we had a good DM and it was so fun. I wish we could all get together and do it again. That's pretty much all I have to say. There wasn't anything in particular I really remember except that it was just like so much fun.
Bro,
my RP experience is pretty limited, so
just in general though, I think a lot of people's most fond memories of role playing is probably something related to Dungeons and Dragons, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're doing it with friends like that, and it's not like people you don't know or anything like that, because you kind of know your friends' personalities, and it's kind of interesting to see them in that specific environment, Because like Duncan, I mean, if you met Duncan, you'd know Duncan's a sweetheart. He's a nice guy, He's a great dude. Like he's just all about everybody else and generous and kind and like just appreciates and loves people pretty much nonstop. But you put him inside of Dungeons and Dragons, he's passing the dungeon master notes so that he can steal his goodies from other, steal their goodies from other people. That's what he's doing. He is out there playing it up, and he's playing to win. And you win as a group in Dungeons and Dragons for the most part, but he's playing for him to win, regardless of anybody else. And like, and it's so fun to like see people get to be in that environment and kind of like explore more of themselves, and you see them in a different way than you would typically.
Yeah, completely. It just feels so open-ended and creative. Like there's so much you could do.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the whole thing with like embodying your character though. Like it
Yeah.
just makes you turn into like this different person and you just like explore all these other areas that you're like in normal life you're not going to go through and do any of that cuz like you're not going to go out and try and pickpocket somebody just randomly on the street or like try and pickpocket your friends. That's not going to happen. But
Yeah.
sure in D&D you're like I can do
Sure hope
this.
not.
I hope my friends aren't trying to pickpocket
Yeah.
me. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I say that might have put a little bit of a damper on the Duncan friendship if he'd chosen to do that after our Dungeons and Dragons game. Obviously for the meme at
True
least once.
embodiment of the
But
character.
yeah, he's bringing his work home with him. Can't have that.
Yep.
I guess
So-
that would happen in LARPing though cuz you're actually
Yeah.
You're just
But-
you're just out there fighting with your sword and shield, and here's Duncan. He's crawled up behind you, and you just see him like he's latched onto your belt, like trying to steal your coins or whatever. Can I help you? He's like, oh no, I'm in stealth. You can't see me.
You just have to ignore him.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody who's prone on the ground crawling, they're in stealth. You can't actually see them. Just a heads up for the sake of the LARP.
That seems like a fair trade-off, honestly.
Yeah.
Crawling on the ground,
Exactly.
be invisible as you want to be.
Just pretending not to see people.
Yeah.
So for me, my best memory of roleplay, it's pretty specific. And it's from World of Warcraft, obviously, because that's the game I have the most time in. And I don't actively do a lot of roleplay inside of World of Warcraft or anything like that. But I was questing in this zone. Swear, I think it's called the Hinterlands. I want to double check, but the Hinterlands in World of Warcraft.
Isn't that the one with the shadow people? Like it's like a big green area. There's lots of like trees and wooden.
Okay, so the Hinterlands, if I'm not mistaken, is where the Wildhammer clan of dwarves resides inside of World of Warcraft. And in the Wildhammer clan, they all have like, orange hair, ride griffins, tattoos, the whole thing. You used to not be able to customize your dwarf like a Wildhammer dwarf until the most recent expansion where they added in new customization options, and now you can. But I was questing there, and I was on a roleplay server. I hadn't participated in any roleplay actively yet, okay? But it was a roleplay and PvP server, so there was both. You could fight other players, and you could be ganked by other players and killed and stuff like that. And I was there questing, and there were some horde that were running around and killing a whole bunch of other people. Like they were just Griefing Alliance players, and they were out there being horde, being the air quotes bad guys, if you will, and like I was just out there trying to level, and they kept killing people and stuff like that, and everybody was just in chat like, help, we're under attack, we're getting killed and things like this. Okay, and I was just like, man, what are we gonna do? I'm just trying to quest and level up. I'm not really trying to be a part of any of this stuff, and I got killed, obviously because I suck. And so we're there, and it's been about 20 minutes of the horde just decimating these people. Okay, and all of a sudden, in this valley that we were in. All right, in the middle of the Hinterlands, because it is a pretty hilly area, lots of up and downs, lots of greenery, that sort of thing. All of a sudden, in this valley, okay, there's in the chat, and you can read the chat because obviously there's not in-game voice chat like proximity chat in World of Warcraft. It's only the text chat. All of a sudden, there's just a whole bunch of people yelling, and when people yell, the text comes up red. And all of a sudden, there's just this wall of red text, okay. And it's just a whole bunch of people yelling in the chat for Clan Wildhammer, okay? And all of a sudden, this group of like 25 dwarves on rams comes running down the hillside, okay? And they just start decimating all of these horde because there was only like 10 of these horde players that were running around griefing people, okay? And they absolutely destroyed them. Like they killed all of them over and over again, and they farmed their corpses for the next like half an hour that I was there questing.
That's gold.
And I'm just like, how do you even get that many people together to do that sort of thing? And it's just a whole bunch of people that were role-playing as Wildhammer dwarves inside of the Hinterlands in World of Warcraft out there doing the thing. And I was like, that is awesome. Like, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to take the time that it takes to get organized like that. But like just being in the area and like seeing roleplay stuff happen around you is so cool. Like it's so cool inside of a game like that to see people that organized doing things similar to that. You know what I mean?
It almost sounds scripted, like that.
Well,
I
that's
have
the
no
whole
idea.
thing about
so
role
cool.
playing is you honestly have to plug yourself into a community.
Yeah.
Like there's so many online resources for different games where people are just like, we're doing this at this time, and if you want to participate, feel free to show up kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
they just open it up to everybody. But you
Yeah.
honestly have to search for those things because a lot of times people don't just post it out there because they don't want all the trolls and stuff like that, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they make communities for them.
And I mean, and
Cool
maybe it
though.
was scripted. And if it was, even cooler. Awesome. If they sent it out there and they were like, hey, let's do battle this day. And they got all their dwarf gang together and they
Oh
rode
no,
in on
that's
rams and killed people.
either
Like,
way.
that's
It's
amazing.
yeah,
You
either
know?
way.
And like I
Very
look
cool.
at people like Asmongold who during the World of Warcraft Classic beta, which was pretty exclusive to content creators, and I mean a lot of people don't care for Asmongold, and I get that, but like the events that he sets up in game are some of the best, and and like one of the things that they did was like they would get together in like commonly contested areas and just have battles. One of them that they did was on a bridge between the Arathi Highlands, which is like a plains area, lots of trolls and like wild creatures and stuff like that, and then the wetlands, which is a swamp area, and there's a big bridge in between. And it's kind of got some pieces broken off of it and stuff like that, but I mean this bridge is massive. It's a dwarven made bridge. There's dark iron dwarves that are on the bridge, that sort of thing, and they have the Horde on one side and the Alliance on the other, and there's streamers on both sides, so you got a whole bunch of different viewpoints, from the community. And he's out there and he's got like Lord of the Rings music playing, and it's like they're getting ready for battle, and he's out there like giving a
Yes.
speech to rally his troops and stuff like that. He's like, today is our day. We will fight them back and we will defeat them at the bridge and all this stuff. And he's hamming it up, you know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
he's not someone who role plays typically, but in the environment of, they got together and they were like, how cool would it be to just get 40 people on both sides and just clash in the middle, And the Horde got their side ready, and the Alliance got their side ready, and they met in the middle of the bridge, and his side got absolutely decimated. I mean, he was doing his best to lead his troops and make callouts and stuff like that, but they got destroyed, and it happens. But I just think stuff like that is so cool. Like
That is
I'm
cool.
not super crazy about roleplay on like the very like small individual level, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm just not the most creative person. I can play off of people really well, but like seeing things like that are big and organized and just get exciting, like nothing hypes people up more than a crowd of hyped up people. Nothing.
True.
Yeah. Definitely.
I like that. I liked your story a lot with the dwarf.
Legitimately the craziest thing I've ever seen in World of
Pretty
Warcraft.
funny.
Like high key the coolest thing I've ever seen in that game. So just getting to be party to something like that is amazing. So I think that was for sure my best memory of RPing, aside from maybe like the first time I joined an RP guild on an RP server. I was pretty young, and they had like a guild hall meeting inside of one of the buildings in like one of the main cities, and just like being in there and like being there for a guild meeting and being part of it, and like it was cool, just getting to see it happen. That's a little bit more of a simple memory, but just being there and talking about World of Warcraft stuff in the guild and like recruiting that we were going to do, and places we wanted to go, things we wanted to do throughout the week is neat. Just
Yeah.
get yourself out of your life, out of the day, and be something else for a little bit. Live a different life. Take yourself to that place. And I think it's a little bit more immersive than just like shutting your brain off and watching the numbies go up. So it really it's almost like the same feeling you get being in VR. Really, really just like taking yourself out of wherever you at and completely immersing yourself in that environment. And I think it's incredible. I really do.
Well, that's like VR chat,
Yeah.
basically. I mean, they have all those different characters and skins you can wear for yourself, and you just go in and hang out with people, play darts.
Man, I've never even tried VR chat, and I didn't even think about that when we were discussing roleplay.
Okay. Well, you can join me and I will take you to all the really cool places because Lily and I found these really like amazing places that people like it's a room that you step into
Mhm.
and then the music starts and then there's like all these lights and just it's you just have to experience it. It's amazing. And
Sister,
especially with a VR
that's a strip
headset cuz
club.
you can look around.
Huh?
I
Say
want to
What?
you
try.
wait. So what is this place? Like exactly? What do you do when you go in there?
So in VR chat, there's like different worlds you can go to, and basically it's this black room, and then you push this button, and then the music starts playing, and these like lights come on, but it's like it's EDM music, so it's just like you're just like jamming, and the lights, and then it's like an all-around experience. It's not just like in front of you, like how you're on a computer screen.
Yeah.
Like while you're in there, you can look around, and it's just I don't even know how to explain it. It's just so magical.
Is it like
Sounds cool.
when music's playing and they have like the equalizers do really unique things, like and there's a whole bunch of colors going every different way, like based on the beat that's happening and the sounds that are happening. Hey, you see like people have those really like really extra like EQs to like show all the different balances and stuff, and like whenever the bass hits, like it pulses like lights all out and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. But
Okay,
it's just like even more intense because you're actually like in there.
so
I don't
we should or we should not do shrooms before going, which just to clarify, do you usually do shrooms when you go? 'Cause
Honestly, the
Should.
experience without shrooms like was amazing.
okay,
So, I mean,
perfect.
if you want to do shrooms and go in there, that's totally fine, but you also might end up laying on the floor crying because the floor disappears underneath you when it starts.
Oh gosh, no.
Oh.
There is no way. I'm gonna go in there the most sober I've ever been. I'm gonna like detox and cleanse and all that stuff beforehand. I'm
Drink
like,
a lot
okay,
of water.
firmly grounded. I got my running shoes on. Like, there, yeah, no
But
chance.
in VR chat, there's like so many different rooms that you can experience. Like they did like a Final Fantasy one. There's like a
Ooh.
pirate ship one. Um, but also like you have to warn people going into those, like people that have epilepsy and things like that, not to do
Mm-hmm.
those because there's lots of like flashing and things like that. So you have to
Yeah.
be really careful. But
I,
there's like a big sign when you first load in that says if you have problems with this, you should probably leave.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah,
So
I figured most like VR stuff would kind of have that like disclaimer of if you suffer from epilepsy or you're prone to seizures or anything like that, like there's a lot of flashing lights in here. And like VR
yeah.
is being as immersive as it is can like already give people bad motion sickness and things like that. Like it's already pretty disorienting. So that
Yeah.
that on top of it, I imagine would just add on to it.
I actually, Lily and I befriended the furry community there because we were just running around in these fursuits that her friend gave her because we were just brand new joining.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
And
just because they were there. Uh-huh. I got
Yeah.
you.
Yep.
All right. Business
everybody
as
was
usual.
really nice, okay? All you have to do is watch out for like the little squeakers that come around. But typically, if you go into other worlds with people,
Yeah.
they tend to just float off into the distance to go troll people. Um, I forgot where I was going with that.
I
We
mean,
were
you were running
talking
around
about.
exploring different rooms in your fursuits.
Oh, yes, we were. I don't remember where I was going with that still.
You were telling us about all the awesome worlds of VR chat. It's okay though. It's not a big deal. It's all good. It's all good. The thought was there and now it's gone. But like one
Yeah.
thing that you mentioned was like that the community is really friendly. And I think that for the most part, like any community that's really niche, like, furries, role playing, anything like that, like the strategy genre, if you will, even like when they're not being competitive, any genre that's a little bit smaller and a little bit more tight knit, it's like the Dark Souls community, for the people that aren't like ultra competitive PvP trolls, if you're a new streamer going into Dark Souls, like people will come in there and they'll like give you tips if you want them, and they'll be excited when you beat your first boss because like it's just a tight knit community, and I definitely think there's something to be said about generally the kindness of the role playing community, you know, and like how welcoming they are to anybody no matter what, you know, because it's not about who you are or where you're from or what you've done or where you've been or anything like that. It's just about you are here to be whatever you want to be inside of this game,
Yeah.
and that is you and what you're there to do, and everybody's there for the same reason. It's a little bit of a getaway from the monotony of everything else, even a getaway from the monotony of just gaming being what it is sometimes,
Yep.
you know just to try something different and get a new experience.
Switch it up. Yeah.
You okay?
My dogs. She was
Getting
barking, so
what kind of dogs do you have for anyone who's dog fans?
I have an English Mastiff mixed with a Pit Bull and a
Hmm.
Chesapeake Bay Retriever mixed with a Rottweiler.
Oh.
Chesapeake Bay Retriever mixed with a Rottweiler. Wow.
Yes.
Pretty, very pretty. Yeah, her dogs are beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few people in the chat who are like, dogs? Yeah,
Dog.
I figured they would be. We love dogs here. So, do you guys have anything else you want to add about the role playing topic, or anything you want to leave off on, thoughts that you have about it, anything else like that? For anybody in the chat, if you have any questions about role playing, or you want to talk about it, or have any questions for us or my sister Trulia here, because again, for anyone who's new, this is my sister. Like I
Oh, boy.
actually flesh and blood sister. She wanted to come be on the show and talk about like RP and stuff like that, and she's probably the biggest into it out of anybody that I know. So y'all have anything else before we start signing off and doing our closings? Either of you? All right. Looking
Nothing
good?
here. Yeah. No.
Sounds good. Awesome. So, Trulia, for anyone who wants to, get involved with role play more often, anything like that, any thoughts about it, where can they find you at?
Like in my Discord, or you're talking about through Twitch? Or I
Either
mean,
one.
anybody can message me through your Discord.
Perfect. Yeah, she is in my
I
Discord
mean,
under Trulia.
that's
So
probably the easiest way to do it.
yeah, so if you want to get a hold of her, she's Trulia in my Discord. She's on there. She's active all the time. She's awesome. Be sure to look her up if you're interested in role playing in potentially World of Warcraft, Black Desert Online, Discord roleplay, anything like that. She's into it, and that's cool.
Correction about the World of Warcraft. I have unsubbed to WoW currently.
Oh, because she's not enjoying it. Rip.
Nope, the last expansion kind of.
Yeah,
For
I'm
me.
not crazy about it either personally. Just classic. But Kinasu said, "What are your general favorite things about role playing?"
Honestly, I just love how it brings people together. I mean, like meeting new people and just being able to embrace being somebody else and then just exploring the world together. Like, I really enjoy doing outworld RP because a lot of people like to stick to like major cities and things like that, but I find it gets a lot more interesting when you venture out into other areas inside of the game and like actually try to be more creative than just, oh, I'm gonna go sit in the tavern and have a drink.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like you said, you talked about going on your adventure to Ungoro Crater, and that's awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah. Do you have an answer for that one too, Devin? Do you have a favorite thing about role playing?
Um, I I think I kind of like talked about like my favorite part about role playing is like also what the most important part of good RP is to me. Like just staying committed to my character, not going off the rails with them at all. Just whatever I am, I want to be, and I'm there for it. So that's probably my favorite part. I like pretending to be something else. It's fun.
If Devin is the Grand Theft Auto online role play barista in the coffee shop, you better believe he's full committed
Oh
to
yeah,
being the
you're gonna get
barista.
the best damn coffee you've ever had.
Yep. Yep, I love
Right.
See, that means you need to play VR chat and you can go to the realm where they have Starbucks and be the official barista.
it. I don't know
They
if
do.
he
They have
actually
like little coffee machines and like the cups fill up with coffee and then you drink them and it goes away. It's great. And they have like little
amazing.
donuts and
That's all
snacks.
me. I'm there.
Yeah, do it.
I was
Apparent
born for that.
Let's go.
apparently somebody needed it, I guess, and now it's there. Important RP question: do you punch the reporter? Yes or no? Devin, go ahead. Do you punch the reporter?
No.
Okay. True. Do you punch the reporter? Yes or no?
Okay, when we say reporter, like are we talking about like a news reporter? Like what
All
like
that all that was said by Zavis Gaming was important RP question. Do you punch the reporter? Do you punch the reporter?
I mean it depends on whether or not they're reporting for you or not. Like if they're like your reporter and you hired them to do your reporting, I'm not going to punch them because they're working for me. But if it's just somebody who's reporting and they're in my face with their camera or whatever they have, like yeah,
Mhm.
I'm going to punch them. Most
Nice.
definitely.
Yeah.
I
I
will.
like hitting people with things, remember? Wooden bowls,
Yeah.
LARPing.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Consistency here.
Yeah.
I will punch them verbally.
I'm in the same camp. Important RP question: do you punch the reporter? I absolutely punch the reporter. Let's say it is a fictional environment. If I can swing, I'm swinging all the time, like literally all the time. I mean, when we were playing Dungeons and Dragons, like everybody else was like, "Oh, I lean forward to listen to see if there's something on the door," and I'm just like, "I go in the door. It's time. Let's get things going here. Let's see some action. Let's see what's happening. If the option is there to punch somebody, we're punching somebody. Do you punch the reporter?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I do. Absolutely, I do. You're completely
Backhand.
correct. Yeah, backhand the reporter, even better. Let's say, give them the only side of the hand that matters. Show them the error of their ways. Shouldn't have been in my face, reporter. Yeah.
Straight into that chaos.
Yep. Don't care about the circumstances. I'm here to have a good time. All right.
We took that question and ran with it, didn't we?
Absolutely. I mean, that's and that's role playing.
it is.
Someone comes up and they're like, "Here's the question," and they hit you with it, and then you're out there and you're going. And you just full send and you live that life. And it was even easier for me to play off of you guys because y'all gave such great answers. And that's role play. We did it just like that. Let's say Zavis out here giving us opportunities. I'm here for that energy. So
Cool.
as people continue to ask questions and stuff like that, Devin, if people want to find you and more of your content, where can they find you at?
You can find me at twitch.tv/DevinCronk, spelled just how it is below right there.
Mhm.
And then also my Twitter, Devin Kronk with 2 Ks. And if you go to the bio of my Twitter, I got a little link tree that can send you to all my stuff. And I'll also put all the links in the YouTube description if you're
Awesome.
listening.
Awesome. Yeah, and King Lucas said, RP question, do you go down and get a snack? King Lucas personally does. Apparently Pina Colada also does. He's back and has pretzels. So we are ending, yes, Pina Colada, but we're also, taking questions and stuff like that as we're signing off for anybody who wants to ask about RP or, ask my sister or anything, because she's here hanging out too. So do you go down and grab snacks? Yes or no, Trulia?
Like physical snacks or like in-game snacks?
In-game snacks. Do you go down and grab snacks?
Yeah. I mean, that's what the tavern's for. I mean, your character has to eat, and sometimes it's nice to just have dinner with your friends. I mean, last RP I was in, my friend Dailu like invited her over to her house because in BDO they have housing and it's amazing and you can like decorate it. It's so good. Okay, that's off topic, but um, she made like a full blown like fish deluxe like sushi like so much stuff and salad, and she brought wine from Ilia Island. Like she did the full shebang, and because she's a sailor in the game,
Yeah.
so
You,
just
you can sail in Black Desert?
I
yes,
didn't
and
know
they
that.
have full boat combat. It's amazing. It's really cool. I haven't actually dabbled into it. I'm mostly doing the horse training because I finally got my tier 8 horse so that I
Nice.
can try to get a unicorn. But I am on my 18th attempt to turn it into a unicorn and it is not going. So
Have you considered throwing your wallet at it?
so that's the thing about Black Desert is that the whole thing I was talking to you about earlier about people saying it's play to win. There
Yeah.
are things that you cannot do to pay to win.
Yeah.
And everything has an alternative to the pay to win.
Yeah.
So it's not pay to win at all.
Gotcha. So, Devin, do you grab snacks? Yes or no?
I grab snacks, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I always keep a snack in my hand.
Yeah, there's no question. I'm usually always hungry, so like
Yeah.
why not get snacks? That checks out for me. Pina Colada also asked, what do you do profession wise? True.
So currently, nothing. I'm going to school to become a yoga teacher.
Very fun.
Ooh.
Let's say I never would have imagined you've done yoga like your whole life since I've known
I
you. Like
know,
you
and I
love
love
yoga.
it so much. And I just like working in corporate America for like the past multiple years and not like committing to doing it. And then now with my husband and things like that, I've just had the opportunity to go for it. And so
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing.
And what does your husband do for anyone who might be curious about that too?
My husband is a firefighter paramedic.
Yeah. So
Oh.
I thought people might be interested in that one. I already knew the
Yeah,
answer
that's
because you're my
Yeah.
sister, but yeah, that's a pretty serious job. He's out there, making sure
Saving
people are
lives.
safe, saving lives.
Yeah.
Firefighter, paramedic. It's pretty crazy
Yeah.
stuff. And
Definitely takes a special kind of person to do it because like just having conversations about things that go on and all the different fires he goes on, I'm just like I could never ever do that. I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Oof.
And like from us, I'm sure, and anyone from the stream or anything like that. Obviously, thank you to him for what he does and the services that he puts out there and gives people, because that's a big deal. I definitely don't have it in me to be the kind of person that does things like that. I can't. I'm already squeamish, like in real life, at like blood, guts, anything like that. Like if people throw up around me, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna need a minute. Like like, and so much respect for him and the things that he does. That's amazing. So I figured people would enjoy knowing what he did too. So, and also awesome. Congrats on pursuing being a yoga teacher as a potential
Thank you.
career. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Obviously, huge wishing you luck on that one. RP, you see the tavern's event. If you can make a stallion laugh, you get a free drink. What do you tell the horse? Say,
I feel like wait, no. I feel like that was a joke. Do you remember those funny books that grandma used to have?
Mhm.
I feel like that was a joke in one of them. And I don't remember what the answer was, but there is an answer to it.
Why the long face?
Why the long
Thank
face?
you.
It's a
Yes.
horse.
That's it. That's it.
I say I immediately go to a terrible pun. I can't help it. We got to make the stallion laugh. So I'm
Hey,
trying to
it's
get a
for
free
horses.
drink. I did my best. Question,
Got
Trulia. Do you like Baja Blast like me?
I love Baja Blast. I recently tried their Major Melon, and it's like Baja Blast, but like at the end there's like this melon flavor.
It's so good.
Baja Blast is gold.
Yeah. Yeah, Baja
Although
Blast.
I am still disappointed about the fact that Mountain Dew got rid of their Supernova and went with the blue one instead. I know they had that big competition thing, but Supernova was even better than Baja Blast, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, I liked the Supernova as well. Devin, do you like Baja Blast as well?
I do. I really do like Baja Blast. It's a great drink.
I say I am of the impression that Baja Blast is the single greatest soda. Do you have one that you prefer more? Either one of you?
It's like with as far as light sodas go, Baja Blast is probably one of the best ones for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would
yeah.
say light soda, yeah. As far as dark soda goes, I'm definitely Coke all the way.
Plain
Let's
Coke?
go.
Yes, plain Coke.
Oh man,
Woo!
I dark soda. I gotta
I'm
go with
hype
cherry
over
Coke.
that one.
I gotta go with cherry Coke for me. I say, but I've heard a lot of people hating on the cherry Coke recently. I don't know why.
You like vanilla Coke?
I love
Eh.
vanilla Coke.
Yeah, vanilla Coke's good too. I think
Love
that's
it.
my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone said the horse doesn't laugh and attacks you. Roll initiative. Good God, I
Yeah,
was not ready. I
made
was
me
not ready
laugh.
to be attacked.
I don't have any dice on my desk, so I can't roll. Although there is some dice in my discords that I'm in that you just like type in and then it rolls automatically for you.
Yeah, awesome. So we're gonna do our closing. So if anyone else has any other questions they want to ask my sister Trulia, who was an incredible guest, thank you so much for joining us. By
Thank
the
you for
way,
being here.
yeah, it
Thank
has been
you.
amazing to have you here. If you want to ask, Devin Kronk anything as well, be sure to check out his Twitch channel. Be sure to hit up my sister Trulia in the Discord if you're interested in role play, in video games, or anything like that, in Discords, anything like that. Be sure to hit her up. She's got the resources. She's got the connections. She's the one. When Trulia emote, whenever we hit partner, so I can have more emote slots. Okay, we can get an emote for my mom and for my sister and for Devin. It'll be a great time. But in the meantime, if y'all want more of me and my content, twitch.tv/justvince. I'm out here. I love video games. I play Smite mostly. We do this podcast called Gaming Tonic every single Saturday, and we love it when you guys come out to the live show. We thank you so much for being incredible listeners. I appreciate you guys. I really do. You guys are absolutely amazing. For anyone who wants to, we have an email, gamingtonic1@gmail.com. Send us emails. Send us things you want us to talk about on the show, thoughts you want us to have, guests you want us to have on, any of that stuff. We want to know about it. We want to hear from you guys. You know what I mean? And also, be sure to, if you are a content creator, if you are someone who is involved in gaming, if you have a topic that you would enjoy to talk about, if you just love games and want to be on here and have a webcam and a mic, be sure to click on that link right there or type !GT app in the chat. And for anyone who is listening, goes to the YouTube link. We will have all of these links available for you there below the video in the description. We want to have you be a guest on the show. We've had a lot of awesome, incredible guests this year already, and we are looking forward to who we got coming up next. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And also, don't forget, if you want to hear the other episodes, if you want to watch the other episodes, go ahead and go to the YouTube link that's right there in the chat for you, or check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google, anywhere that you listen to podcasts, we're on there, and we want to hear from you.
Ooh.
So, before we close, anything else any of you want to say before we head out of here?
Falling in love with the horse in the chat right now. Do you see this?
I do. Apparently, we need to get a dice roll like bot or something in the Twitch chat so we can roll for initiative every single time we open the stream.
Rolls.
Yeah, no kidding. We need a dice command. I'm gonna have to take a look at that and see if I can get that set up. That might be fun. Trulia, anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, my dog was having a barking fit at the squirrel outside, so.
Awesome. We love squirrels too, and dogs that bark.
we worship squirrels, actually.
Apparently,
Right.
at least one of us does. At least one.
Yeah.
Let's say awesome. So once again, thank you so much for being on the show. We appreciate you. You're awesome, sister. I love you. You know I do.
Thank you for having me. Love you too.
Yep. It's always good to have you on here. We are going to go ahead
Thank you
and
for being here.
drop a raid on somebody else. So anybody who is still here hanging out with us, be sure to stick around for the raid. Go show somebody else some love. Go let them know that we appreciate them and that they're awesome. Hopefully you guys will have a most excellent rest of your day. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you either Tuesday for our streams or next weekend. Take care, everybody.